Everything we touch has a history that starts deep under the ground. If you look at the walls around you, the windows, or the phone in your hand, you are looking at materials that were either grown or pulled from the earth. We often think of our modern world as a digital one, but our digital world is built on a physical foundation of copper, lithium, and nickel. These minerals are the hidden ingredients of every battery and every advanced chip. We are currently standing at the edge of a massive change. To protect our planet, we want to move toward a clean, circular economy. We want electric cars, renewable energy, and schools full of computers. But to build this green future, we need to find more minerals than we ever had before. The challenge is that we have already found all the easy deposits that were close to the surface. Now, we have to look much deeper into the earth, where the rocks are hidden and mysterious. This creates a bridge between our high-tech dreams and the very old, often slow world of mining. We need to rethink how we explore the earth if we want to build a sustainable home for the next generation. On the surface, the common idea is that we are simply running out of materials. We hear news reports about the scarcity of lithium or the high price of copper. We worry that the earth is empty and that our progress will soon hit a wall. This surface-level concern leads people to believe that we must compete fiercely for the few resources that are left. It makes the mining industry look like a game of luck where people just dig holes and hope to find something valuable. Because people think the minerals are disappearing, they focus on holding on to what they have rather than finding new ways to discover what is hidden. However, the real problem is not a lack of rocks. The real problem is a lack of information. We do not have a map for the world that lies 1,000 meters beneath our feet. On the surface, we see the scarcity of the material, but the deeper issue is the scarcity of knowledge and the lack of investment in new technology to find that knowledge. Behind the struggle to find minerals, there is a hidden assumption that mining is a low-tech industry that does not need to change. For a long time, we have assumed that if we just keep doing what we have always done, we will find what we need. While industries like medicine and technology spend huge amounts of money on research and development, the mining industry has stayed relatively still. We assume that the old ways of looking at maps and drilling random holes are sufficient. This assumption has made us 10 times worse at finding new deposits over the last 30 years. We act as if the earth is a simple puzzle that can be solved with a few pieces of data. We assume that one single model of a mine is enough to make a multi-billion-dollar decision. This way of thinking ignores the massive amount of uncertainty that comes with looking deep underground. By assuming we already know enough, we make bad decisions that lead to unnecessary waste and damage to the environment. We need to stop assuming that the earth is easy to read and start respecting the complexity of the rocks beneath us. When we look at how discovery actually happens, we see a structural pattern of uncertainty that affects every decision. Imagine you are sitting in a chair right now. If you try to predict exactly what kind of rock is a kilometer below you, you will realize how little you know. You might guess, but you cannot be sure. If you drill one small hole and find copper, you still do not know what is happening just a few meters to the left or right. The industry handles this by picking one possible answer and ignoring all the other possibilities. This is a pattern of false certainty. In reality, for every piece of data we collect from an airplane or a drill, there are thousands of different ways the rocks could be arranged. The old pattern is to pick the most likely one and act like it is the only one. The new pattern is to use machine learning to look at every single possibility at once. By simulating thousands of different rock arrangements, we can quantify exactly what we do not know. This pattern of managing uncertainty allows us to decide where to look next with much more precision. It is a shift from guessing to calculating probabilities. To fix our broken system, we need to reframe our perspective on mining from extraction to prediction. Instead of seeing ourselves as people who just take things out of the ground, we should see ourselves as people who use information to minimize our footprint. A mine is not just a hole in the dirt, it is a complex engineering project that depends on how well we can see into the dark. If we can predict the shape and size of an ore body more accurately, we can design mines that use less water and produce less waste. We can place our tunnels and shafts in the safest and most efficient places. This reframing turns mining into a high-tech science similar to space exploration. It is about using the best tools we have to understand a frontier that is right under our feet. When we change our view from exploiting the earth to understanding the earth, we become more responsible. We stop digging where it is not necessary and start focusing on the areas that will give us the most benefit with the least harm. This is how we build the mine of the future. We can apply this way of thinking to our own lives by learning to embrace uncertainty in our own decisions. In our daily life, we often try to act as if we know exactly what will happen next. We make plans based on a single idea of the future. But just like the rocks underground, the future is full of different possibilities. We can learn to collect more information before we make big choices. We can learn to ask what else might be true instead of just sticking to our first guess. In a world that is changing very fast, being able to quantify what we do not know is a superpower. Whether you are starting a business or planning a move, you can use the same logic of the modern miner. Look for the gaps in your knowledge and try to fill them with better data. This mindset makes us more resilient and better at handling risks. It teaches us that being smart is not about having all the answers but about knowing how to ask the right questions and how to measure the gaps in our understanding. As we reflect on this journey, we must realize that our need for materials is not going to go away. Our desire for a better quality of life and a cleaner planet will keep driving the demand for the treasures of the earth. This means we have a deep responsibility to transform the way we interact with our environment. We cannot afford to be wasteful or careless. The technology we build today, like machine learning and advanced physics simulations, is not just about making money. It is about being better ancestors for the people who will live here in 100 years. When we use data to build a more efficient mine, we are saving water, protecting local communities, and ensuring that we do not take more than we need. This is a global effort that requires talent from every corner of the world. It is about bringing together people from different backgrounds to solve a problem that affects us all. We are moving toward a time where our physical world and our digital tools will work together in perfect harmony. The copper in your phone and the AI in your computer are parts of the same story. By making that story more transparent and more scientific, we can ensure that our progress does not come at the cost of the very earth that supports us. We are all miners in a way, searching for the best way to build a future that is bright, circular, and fair for everyone. If we start to treat our planet as a complex system of information rather than just a source of material, how would that change the way you value the objects you use every single day?